like to call to order the July 13th Townsend Conservation Commission meeting at 7:02 p.m. Have a roll call, please.
Joan Savoy, Pat Jello, Linda Mack.
James Gates.
Toby Streeter.
This meeting is being recorded. Is anyone else recording? Chairman's additions and or deletions. We do not have any. 1.4 Chair's report. I just want to commend the fire department, DCR, and all the surrounding support we've had for the wildfire, for the Old City fire. It's tough conditions in that part of town and with hard access, so
Yeah, agreed.
I want to acknowledge that.
It's amazing. It's still going too, right?
Last I knew, yeah.
And 15 acres still.
Well, last I know, that was
Yeah.
last night, so. 1.5,
James, can I make a statement, please?
go ahead.
Thank you. I have some concerns. I serve on another board, and the tenor of that board is very welcoming and open, and everyone's opinions are accepted, and everyone's opinions are delivered respectfully. They're accepted respectfully, even if they differ from other people in the group. No one is rude. Everyone follows the policy of decorum that the BOS has put out. It is a congenial group and we get a lot of work done. We discuss what is in people's files or what's in a file from before, because we believe that if we're, for instance, dealing with a wetland situation and there had been something built on that wetland prior to our involvement, that perhaps shouldn't have been, because let's hypothetically say the first plan the people submitted didn't show any wetlands on it and no one bothered to check. We feel that's valuable information and we take everything in. No one is more important than anyone else on the board, and it's a great board and with a lot of people that have a lot of opinions. And I'm not sure that this board is the same tenor, which is upsetting to me. And I also feel that Pat Gemolo is deserving of an apology from the chair for not being welcomed and seated last week. That's just my opinion, James.
My response to that was she was not sworn in at the last meeting.
That's true.
And it was prior to her beginning of the term. Welcome.
Thank you, James.
We did say welcome last time, and we talked to you briefly, and you were already appointed, so we didn't need to talk to you about why you should be on this. So, you already, like I said, were appointed. You just weren't sworn in yet, and that was known prior going to the meeting, and that's why she sat in the audience and.
I would like that. The only thing is, questions were asked why I wanted to be on and stuff, and I felt that, I had already put that in the paperwork and stuff, and, I really couldn't remember what exactly I said, and it just kind of put me on the spot, and I just, I figured everybody got a chance to see that, and I just didn't understand why it had to be brought up that again at that point, that's all.
We weren't really given notice of your appointment until the day of, I believe. Jessica, is that correct? So no one had time to review the volunteer request form. And we also wanted it in your own words also, but we had a matter of hours.
But it just seemed like, because it seemed like you guys wanted a meeting first with the Board of Selectmen before I was brought on, that, like, it was a question whether or not it was done appropriately at that time. That all I heard was, that's not how we do it. Yes, they are, in charge of us, kind of, but, so that's kind of what I heard, and I had understood that everything was all set from the board, and, that's why I had come. And, even though I knew I had got sworn in yet and stuff, because I was about to, and which I took care of that right away, and also took the ethics test and all that. So I'm up to date on some of that. And then just reading along, other things on the computer that they have sent me and everything. So, so that's, I just felt very uneasy that day.
My apologies. Again, I received an email, I think at noontime or a little before noon, saying that you were appointed, and we welcome you with open arms. We're happy to have you here, and but at the same time, the select board has all the rights to appoint. It's a surprise to us when something like this happens, and you filled out the volunteer request form a week or 2 weeks prior to your appointment, which is great. Usually that trickles to us, and volunteers that send in the forms come and sit through at least one meeting, try to do 2 meetings. Colby did 2, I did 2. So that we can make sure that you want to be on commission, which you do. And then we send our recommendation on to the select board. This case, or in your instance, it didn't happen like that, and it is what it is. You were appointed, and I don't want you to feel uneasy, and that you are welcome. Anyone else have anything to add?
Well, I just want to say I'm sorry if you felt uneasy, because anybody who volunteers in this town, we are, like James said, we're incredibly grateful that you would take the time out of your life to do this. So, yeah, I apologize if I said anything. I don't know, I can't remember. Or, on behalf of the board, just that, I'll reiterate what James said. We welcome you.
Thank you.
Completely, yeah.
So Joan, do you have anything to add to your original statement?
Thank you.
Is anyone else?
No, we'll move on.
Yes. 1.5, review, approve the meeting minutes from 6/22. Does everyone have a chance to review?
Yes, I got one thing. Matt, is Matt here?
Yes.
Oh, hi, Matt. My term ends 2025.
Yep. That was my mistake. That'll be fixed in the upcoming agenda. Sorry about that.
It's all right, thank you.
You talking about on the header, Joan?
Yeah, so
So,
2022.
right. Your term hadn't ended yet. So the new moving forward, like today, should be 2025.
Yeah,
But for
today
that,
should be
right,
2025.
Yeah.
For the meeting minutes, I think 2022.
Oh, you're
is
right.
accepted. It is
Wait, no, I
acceptable.
was, it doesn't matter. It's just.
But you're right. I also missed it on this agenda. So
I know it's minor,
you get
but
catch regardless.
Thank you.
Matt, on 3.1, there was discussion on who the applicant was, and it's not outlined in this. I'm hoping that you can add that.
Sure. 3.1.
Yes.
On that note, I thought I was only appointed for 2 years.
It's a very.
It's important to me.
I know
didn't want
I
3
know.
years. I would have preferred 1. Anyway, remember?
Between our powers, between Mike, Matt, and Jessica,
Can
could
you
we
We'll figure it out.
can you
check all
figure it
of
out?
them?
Don't make me do this 3 years, please. I love it, but
Do I have you as 2025 on the minutes?
do.
Oh, okay. I apologize for that. It's 2024 on the website. I guess I missed that on the minutes. I apologize.
Thank you.
I will update that as well.
Yeah, mine was only a 2-year too, and it's me as a 2024.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just clean up.
That I don't know that. I thought you were 2024.
We can do
Right.
some record checking in the next
Yeah.
few weeks to see when
I'll check with the
everybody
clerk, I guess.
expire.
That'd be good.
Not that you guys have anything else to do.
Right.
So I only had something on 3.1. Does this side of the table have anything? No.
Are we gonna approve the minutes?
Well,
Are we gonna?
my vote is gonna be no because of 3.1, but
Okay,
someone has to make the
Oh, I
motion
see.
and someone has to, I'm not gonna,
I can add those edits too, by the way, before I submit them.
Oh, thanks.
That's what I've been doing in the past.
make a motion to not approve the minutes from the meeting of 6/22/22.
To not approve?
Yeah,
I feel that they shouldn't be approved because the edits are, in my eyes, significant.
Yeah.
And I'd like a chance to review them, if everyone's okay with
I'm
that.
fine with that.
that's why I made that motion to not approve.
So motion's on the table. Second. Discussion.
I'm confused, but we're voting not to approve.
Correct.
Yes.
Dylan is yes.
I thought that was the right answer.
Linda?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
James, yes.
Discussion.
Oh, sorry, I said discussion,
Yeah,
so
they'll just be approved at the next meeting, there'll be edits.
we'll review it. So we can make sure, I want to just make sure what I had said is in there. All right, so we didn't approve those, Matt, and just
Yeah,
because of those edits.
I'm looking at the minutes and I said, I too briefly summarized it because I just said after some deliberation, it is decided that Jim LeQuire must recuse himself because the Board of Health is kind of involved in the project, but I'll be more in depth in the edits. I apologize.
At least for this one.
Mhm.
So I just want to make sure it's on record. All right. Moving on, 1.6 agents report.
Mr. Chair, can I say something to that though, however?
To what?
To what you just said about the minutes, you wanted more details. We have to remember the videos are now available.
I know.
And the minutes only have to reflect the motion made and the vote. Technically.
Yeah.
Again, there was discussion about the applicant and who the applicant was, and we went back and forth. I feel that, at least in this instance, that detail needs to be,
Oh, we're talking about 3.1?
yes, for Board of Health.
Thank you.
I'm not talking the whole,
Yeah, yeah,
everything, because I know how
Yeah,
much work it is.
yeah.
We've all done them.
gotcha. Okay, thanks.
So was there something on that, on the minutes that you thought needed to be added?
Yes, specifically me asking who the applicant was
Yes, yeah,
and the little bit of back and forth,
okay.
even if it's summarized.
Yeah.
But we
And
know who
that-
the applicant is, correct?
Townsend.
Town Townsend, but Board of Health. So But James did accuse himself. didn't
You did?
he? Is that in here?
Yes.
All right, that's the important part.
Are we good?
Yep.
Everyone?
Yep.
Okay. Jessica, it's your turn.
Thank you. All right, agent report, dates covered June 20th to July 8th. Building permit, interdepartmental signatures. I had signed off on 10 North End Road, 21 Hickory Drive, 11 Pheasant Ridge Road, 59 West Meadow Road, 38 Dudley Road, 15 Tyler Road. Oops, sorry, I have two things on here, and 82 Ball Road. We did not complete any referrals. The Board of Health interdepartmental signatures. I had one for
Can I ask
6.
a question, Jessica?
Yeah.
Sorry. Where it says 59 West Meadow Road, and then in parentheses, you
Oh,
said
yeah.
the Natural Heritage and Endangered Species Program. What happened there?
So that one, there were no wetlands or streams around where the proposed house is planned. So based on that, it is outside of our jurisdiction. However, the property, part of the property is mapped within priority habitat. So when there isn't, when the project isn't actually under our jurisdiction for wetland purposes, we cannot require the applicant to actually do anything further. But I just made sort of a cursory courtesy note that it's the applicant's responsibility to have a MESA filing.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. So the Board of Health interdepartmental signatures, 6 Shirley Road, I noted that they must file with conservation, and we will be getting an NOI for that. And signed off on 321 Townsend Hill Road. We've made 13 inquiries to date on orders of conditions issued in the past without COCs being approved for them. The RDA for 46 Emery Road tree cutting for safety concerns is still on hold. We completed and submitted out the request for the COCs for 1, 5, and 7 Bailey Road on July 6th. We have a request for an OOC extension for 27 Scales Lane that's being continued since we're still awaiting 2 compliance items from them. We completed the COC for 4 Capricorn Lane on July 6th. We completed the determination of applicability for 33 Greenville Road, the Referral Center, on July 6th. We are in receipt of a no-take determination letter from Fish and Wildlife regarding 33 Greenville Road. We've done a little bit of MACC membership renewal coordination.
Jessica,
Yes.
could you speak to that a little bit, please? That no take on 33 Greenville?
Joan, let's
oh,
finish the vote
Sorry,
first and then-
James want you to finish. Sorry.
I'll finish, then I'll go back. Yep.
Okay.
Visited 18 Laurel Woods Drive for a resident who wanted to put a firewood storage structure near wetlands. So I was just helping her locate where the wetlands were, so she was outside of the buffer. We have a request for a COC for 63 Adams Road. We have intake of volunteer response forms, one received from Kevin Smith on June 24th, one received from Jim LeClaire on July 5th. We are also now in receipt of a DEP file number for the Squanicook Wildlife Management Area NOI that has been put on hold until end of September. And I visited 54 Barker Hill Road to check on their planting status for their order of conditions. So that's my report. And then the no-take letter, because a portion of that project area was also located within priority habitat, the applicant filed a MESA filing for it, and the response was that they determined that there was no take, so there would not be any effect on that whatever species is known to potentially have habitat there. So it's all good. Yep.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have questions regarding the agent's report? Good, Jessica. Matt, do you have anything to add quickly? If any, okay.
Someone want to screen share?
Nope, we're good, Hartley. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, moving on to 3.0 work session, 3.1 request for OOC extension for 27 Scales Lane, TWB 2019-156, continued from 6/22/22. And Jessica said that she is awaiting 2 compliance issues, so need a motion to
Motion to continue. TWB 2019-156 to our next meeting of July 27th.
second. Ready, John?
Yes.
Pat?
Yeah.
Linda?
Yes.
Colby?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
James, yes. A COC request for 63 Adams Road, sorry, 3.2, 63 Adams Road. DEP number 308-0688. Jessica, you had a chance to get out there and look?
I did, yes. I just went out this past Monday. So for those who were not involved in the NOI portion of this process, the application portion, the applicant was needed to replace their septic system. Their old system now at this point was about 10 feet away from a wetland buffer, or from a wetland edge. So they moved the leach field to the backyard. So it's outside of the wetland buffer, and is about 60 or 70 feet, I believe, from the nearest set of intermittent streams, which sort of make a triangle around the property. So we approved work for a new septic system for them. And I just went out this past week. The erosion silt fence and the straw wattles were still up and appeared to have survived and functioned properly throughout the duration of the work. All areas were reseeded, grass has grown in, everything looks to be quite stable now at this point. So from an administrative standpoint, everything in their order was done into compliance. And then from a technical in the field standpoint, everything also appeared to be in compliance. So I would recommend your approval for a complete certification for a COC for this one.
Motion to approve a COC for 63 Adams Road, DEP number 308-688.
Second.
We have discussion.
Does the Conservation Commission not go out on inspections to do certificates of compliance?
No,
I
we
mean,
have.
okay.
Jessica, can you field this question? Please?
Yeah, I mean, you guys can come. Usually I'm there for like 2 or 3 minutes. So
Yeah.
by the time I'm done with an inspection, someone's arriving late, I might already be gone. So
Yeah. No, I'm
yeah,
not trying to,
if you guys
not that I
want,
want to come to any of them. I'm just wondering if in the history, if
Yeah, we
people
can-
were
we can invite you.
actively
That's
involved in
fine.
those.
yeah, that's, if you guys would like me to invite you to them, that's fine. Typically I'll do the initial one just to save you time. And And then I'll go do, I'll make a bunch of other quick little inspections while I'm out to make it efficient. And then if I see anything concerning, that's when I would recommend that at this type of meeting, we would wait, put it on hold, make a site visit, and then discuss it at our next meeting.
That actually happened at Bailey
That
Road.
sounds like a good plan. I wouldn't change it for anything.
That's what happened with Bailey Road.
Oh, yeah.
Jessica went out, looked at it, noticed some discrepancies, and then came to us and recommended that we, but if it's something you want to change.
No. I just wanted to know how you guys are functioning these days.
Maybe-
If someone else can do the work, that's
We
fine
have
with
pretty
me.
deep faith in Jessica.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to go. Okay. Thanks.
Moving on, so we have to do a roll call vote, or vote. Joan,
I forget what
Sorry.
We're voting on.
It's on the,
Oh, the
63,
COC,
yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
Joan, you in favor?
Oh, I said yes. Yes,
Pat,
thank you.
Linda?
yes.
Colby?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
James, yes. You want me, I saw you have the.
So, yeah. I made an assumption, yes. If you guys want to circle those around now real quick or after your meeting, that way, because I know we've had trouble chasing everyone down for signatures with the holiday the last few weeks. So I would prefer if you guys could sign at some point tonight so that we don't have to chase you down next week.
All right, we'll do it at the end after the meeting.
Perfect.
Everyone's
you.
okay with that.
So there are 4 copies of each, and I already
Even
printed out your
picking our
names.
names.
I know. Yep. I know it gets old writing your name up. So. All right. Thank you.
All right. 3.3. Mandatory referral notice from planning board regarding 256 Main Street. The project is converted commercial buildings to multifamily residential for 1-bedroom units. Jessica, did you dig into this at all? Double check, make sure they don't
I
have to do
did. Yeah,
any.
this is right down. This is right next to, or like right at the intersection where town hall is. It's right across from town common. So in terms of what would be jurisdictional for conservation, there is nothing around for quite a while. So.
Good. Does anyone have anything to add?
no,
So, no comment then?
No, no comment.
I can see a conservation issue.
So maybe make a motion to, comment.
I make a motion that our comment reads not jurisdictional to Conservation Commission.
Okay,
I forget, is there a box to check off? I forget how these go.
no comment.
Oh,
Can you just check
no
off?
comment.
So I make a motion that we check off no comment for the mandatory referral from the planning board on, what was the address? 256 Main Street.
Second.
Joan Savoy,
Yes.
Patricia,
yeah,
Linda,
Yes.
Colby,
Yes.
Ann,
Yes.
James, yes. Is everyone okay that I signed it? Is
Yeah,
everyone
no,
else
you
signed
should.
it?
No, it's fine.
Move forward.
I checked it though.
3.4, mandatory referral notice from planning board regarding 24 Old City Road. Legal notice reads in accordance to MGL Chapter 40, Section 15C, Scenic Roads, Townsend General Bylaws, Chapter 106, and Planning Board Rules and Regulations, Article 4, Section 175, 31 to 34. Hearings under the Scenic Road Act. The Townsend Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Monday, July 18th, 2022 at 6:45 p.m. in Selectmen's Chambers to discuss removing 2 sections of a stone wall totaling 25 feet at 24 Old City Road. Jessica, did you make sure there was nothing?
There's nothing out there. It's kind of, they're kind of at the top of a hill. So by the time topography would lead to any wetlands, it's 400 or 500 feet away from anything. So for removal of a stone wall, especially for sort of a safety concern where they're at, I don't have any problems or comments.
Did you have something in?
No, I just didn't know there was a hill on Old City Road.
Kind of a small hill.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any other questions or?
No.
I'm just doing our homework.
I can't remember where it is. It was so bad.
23. Yeah,
I just, it's like,
right on the Lunenburg line.
can't remember where it is. It's City Road. So how do you get to it? Oh, Route 13. It's after Route 13. Yeah.
It was not jurisdictional. So I make a motion that we mark no comment.
I'll second it.
Joan,
Yes.
Patricia,
Yeah,
Linda,
Yes.
Colby,
Yes.
Ann,
yes.
James, yes. Okay, 3.5, Towns and Wetlands Bylaw, Chapter 138-1, and would jump ahead to also 138-8, review and discussion. This was brought up just so that we can see if there's wording that needs to be amended, and just to start looking at things. Would anyone like to read 138-1?
Can I make a comment first?
Yes.
Thank you. My understanding is that maybe, it would behoove us to look, instead of just singling out, and I think to Colby's point a while ago, I think we need to look, is there a reason the security one's in here, by the way? There is, that's what I figured. I'm comfortable looking at that tonight, but I think if we're gonna dive into the 35-foot, that we
I don't-
should have a committee.
I don't think they're going to dive into that. It's
I'll
just,
chime in here. This is just for educational purposes. Sorry about my cat. Since we have a bunch of new members, and then
butchering that then.
well, no, and it's good
Legal.
for everyone just to know, because I know there's a lot of question on what's jurisdictional, what's not, why is it something. So the main intent of this is education, and then for anyone who tunes in to our meetings on a regular basis, anyone, for them to learn also, but also with the intent of there are some typos and it's hard to follow. So we just want to get a little input in hopes that we are able to reword them slightly here or there for better clarification for our applicants. So there's nothing to do with the 35-foot buffer in this. It's literally, the plan is to take a section or two and go through it each meeting so that everyone's up to speed and on the same page.
Thanks, because
Yeah.
when I got it, I
Yeah.
had no idea why we were looking
Right.
at this. I was
Yeah.
like, what?
I could have informed you all better, sorry.
Yeah, that would be
good.
helpful.
Yeah.
The securities thing is something I picked up on.
Okay.
That I think we need to
Do you see that?
look at.
So if you put this before us, Jessica, it'd be great if you could highlight the areas that you think where there's a typo, or you think there needs to be more clarity, and same with James, if there's areas, and then we can discuss them. But I don't even know what to look at here. I'm reading it and I'm like, what?
Yeah, if we can see the changes you made.
No changes
on my
were
work
made.
computer. Yeah, I mean, going through, you can see like just in the, where is that?
So,
There's one in here. It's resourced areas, like past tense. That's just wrong.
Yeah.
Just some little things. But I mean, in sort of vastly, it addresses RDAs in some sections and NOIs in others, but it makes you feel very limited as to what your application processes are. So we just kind of want to maybe take a step back and make sure they're clearer for our applicants.
Yeah. So if you could give us the recommendations that you want us to vote on or look at.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
you know,
it's
we
just,
have
we're not going to
It's
vote on anything. I think
And it
maybe we'll just
yeah.
discuss, and then I can go through and do like track changes.
Yeah.
And then once we're done with this in 3 months or whatever, then we could vote on the whole one.
Yeah, I like track changes.
Yeah.
So let me, of course, this is a PDF that I printed out. So let me see if I can get a,
so maybe at the next meeting, we take a look at 138-1 and 138-2.
And have any possible changes if people look at it and let Jessica know. And Jessica, you live this and breathe this, so you know what you need in these bylaws. So you could make recommendations and then we can, right? Does that sound okay?
Sounds good to me, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to.
I do have a question though. If we're, I mean, that is, I realize that we're only going to be making changes, structural changes as far as typos and things like
Yeah.
that. But does that still,
Yeah, that's a good point.
is that still a bylaw change that we have to go, you know what I'm saying? If we're changing the
Yeah, we
verbiage,
have to go to town meeting.
right,
Yeah.
That's a good point.
so we'd have to,
Can we ask town council if we're doing just edits of
that's a good suggestion.
spelling errors? Do we have to go to town meeting? Because then we could limit it to that kind of thing.
Mike, do you have any? Oh, there he is. Yep. Perfect. Just the nick of time.
Always lurking, ready to jump in. If you don't mind, I can speak to that. You do have to have, for any verbiage changes, you have to go through town meeting, because there can't be the assumption that everyone at town meeting didn't only vote for this because it said past tense. For whatever reason, they chose to do it. So any amount of change. So this is a good thing to do to get started, and a more substantive effort and review and saying, is this really encompass what we want, is also a good idea. And you can make both at the same time, but it's a good idea to start somewhere. So, but you do have to go to town meeting. We are planning to have a town meeting in September. So if you wanted to go through quickly and just change all the past tense to present tense or whatever it's supposed to be and get that on the town meeting for the fall, and then have a more robust conversation about bylaw regulations for a regular summer meeting, you could do that in that manner. So whatever you want to do, but yeah, you would have to go through town meeting.
So Matt, remind me that so that's for the bylaw, but for rules and regulations, we just have to do a hearing, correct? A hearing notice, and if we want to change the rules and regs, we can. I'm sorry, Mike. I meant to say Mike instead of Matt. Mike, you disappeared,
No, I didn't.
and I can't hear you.
You're muted, kid.
You're muted.
I'm having all manner of tech problems. It's just me. Is what it is. Sorry, my light was like causing a ton of glare, and I don't know what to do about it. So
Okay.
there, I'm in the shade now.
So the rules and regs that are different than the wetlands bylaw,
Yes,
those
anything
we
that's
can do with an open meeting of notice of that we're going to be discussing changes to that, correct?
yes, that's the difference with the bylaw, because a bylaw, in order to be enacted, has to go through a town meeting. In order to be changed, has to go through a town meeting because they're the authority in a way that decided it was the case. Regulations, you can make changes, but it's a little bit tricky with CONSCOM because they can't, they have to, you can't like supersede a state regulation. You can't say, oh, we can dump toxic waste in the wetlands now because we said it's okay. That's generally bad everywhere.
Yes.
So you'd have to check on those. And so those might be the kind of thing that when those revisions are made, just making sure they get reviewed by town council or something like that.
And then is this, if my memory serves me, that the bylaw then, if we do make any substantive changes, they go to the Attorney General for approval, correct?
If you make any changes,
Any changes.
when they get approved at a town meeting, they go to the Attorney General for review. Just to make sure that we didn't suddenly change something that it makes it something that can't be done. So,
Exactly. Like we want to allow.
Careful, this is recorded. We're only talking about doing grammatical.
No, I know, but I mean, I think it's important for everyone in town, especially under some of the climate that's been happening, that people understand there are checks and balances to the Conservation Commission. And it's not willy-nilly. You can't get on the Conservation Commission and change bylaws, because you don't agree with the wetlands bylaw. There's a process you have to go through, and it's, checks and balances. So I think it's important to always use this venue for some education to people that might be like, oh, this Conservation Commission is overstepping their bounds.
I think that's part of the reason Jessica wants to do that.
Yeah.
It's the education side of
Yeah.
things. 'Cause
Yeah.
Okay.
Educate and then, just add clarity where it's needed in the wording. Yeah, nothing like making serious technical changes, just helping average Joe be able to read it and know what he needs to do for a permit.
Yeah. Although average Joe doesn't always want to read these.
Me neither, but.
I don't like having to read these. I'm like, anyway, yeah.
So I did actually, a long time ago, I emailed myself my initial track changes to our bylaw. So if you guys have that pulled up in front of you, I don't know. I don't want to skip ahead. I don't know what the determination was. I missed it. Sorry. If we're actually going to read this or if people are just going to read. I mean, the intent is educate. So I don't know if people will go home and read this before they go to bed forever.
So what you're trying, so you this is twofold purpose then. So we're cleaning up the grammatical errors, but you also want us to be educated. So you do want us to read this?
Two birds, one stone, Joan. We're all about efficiency these days. We got no time to spare.
No time
in our short weeks.
I didn't get a copy of this. Colton and I are having the same issue with getting onto the Google Drive.
Even with the direct link? Oh, man. Okay. Shoot.
Yeah, but so I don't have any of the paperwork. I don't have what you're referring to right now.
Were there hard copies here?
I have an extra copy in.
Copy here that I can make a copy.
Here it is.
Your printer decided to print it 4 times.
Yeah, that's what exactly.
Anyway, if you could send it to us, email, both of us.
I guess we gotta. Yeah, it seems like the Google Drive is just not working at all for you guys. I mean, I can start emailing you all the documents individually then.
Thanks. That would be
Yeah.
greatly appreciated.
As PDFs or whatever. That's fine.
Yep. Is it just you two who are having trouble, or are other people okay with it, or?
No, I'm good.
With the Google Drive? Okay.
I don't have a problem, but you're going to want to. I don't think, has Patricia been given the link yet? Does she have access?
On our end, it says she has access, but it says all of you do, so I don't know.
It seems like if you have a Gmail, it's easier to access.
Right.
So I know I've used it without having a Gmail in the past, though, so I don't know. I don't get it.
We do have, Matt and I just talked about this today. We do, I think, have a Microsoft SharePoint account with the town, although unfortunately none of us have ever used it.
And that's probably going to have the same problem if you don't have a Outlook email or a Microsoft account. I don't know.
I don't always have good luck with Gmail, sorry. Because I have MindSpring and stuff, so it's, I don't always get everything from Gmail.
Did you get the drive?
So do you know how to use the PDFs? That's easy.
That's why I kept asking if you can see on the document.
I got
So
some
maybe this is
things
something
on
that
there, but not.
we could talk about privately, or
Yeah.
a phone call. Maybe you call them or I can call them.
Okay.
Because there was
It's multiple
When I look
files.
at
You said all one PDF.
When you hit on them,
Yeah, we can do that.
I
I mean, we would,
all of the documents.
so everyone hears this, if you can't access,
single-
I'll wait till everyone's done. If you can't access what we're sending you, I mean, we have these drives open and full, like at least a week before the meetings. So if you can't access it, please let us know before the minute that we're gonna discuss this. Because everything's available and we have time to send it out to you. So if you can't access it, please let us know as soon as possible.
And and Matt works Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday now.
Yep.
Just Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yes.
So, okay, we'll work on our technology side of things. So one of the things that I came upon when I was reading through the bylaws was 138-8 security. And I'll read it. The Conservation Commission may, as part of its order of conditions, require, in addition to any security required by any other town or state board, commission, agency, or officer, that the performance and observance of the conditions imposed hereunder be secured by one or in part by one and in part by the other of the methods described in the following clauses. By a proper bond or deposit of money or negotiable securities sufficient in the opinion of the Concom to secure performance of the conditions and observance of the safeguards of such order of conditions, or by covenant executed and duly recorded by the owner of record running with the land whereby the conditions and safeguards included in such order of conditions shall be performed before any lot may be conveyed other than by mortgage deed. We've obviously have in the past predominantly followed the second option with recording of the deeds, but with having to chase down individuals that have outstanding OOCs, I feel that maybe we should consider the first option with bonds or deposits for at least large projects
Yeah,
so that they get closed out quicker. Just because I know I shared this with you and
I like that idea. Using it.
So that's once we decide on the verbiage, that would be a change to the bylaw. So
no, it's in here. This is the
This
bylaw.
is the, he didn't change anything.
I didn't, this is no change.
No.
This is not me
And we-
pulling it out of the air.
So with large projects, we used to do this
Okay,
way back when. So I'm talking over 15 years ago.
So you're saying you want to start instituting
Yeah.
this
I'm
again?
saying I'd like to discuss it.
Mhm.
As an option when something comes
Mhm.
before us, a large project or.
You know, there's projects that they don't necessarily have a piece of land deeded. They might, or they have the an easement, but you know, specifically the fire pond up on up across from Kevin's.
Oh, yeah.
Have they come in for their COC yet? Because that's project's done. It's already
Yeah.
revegetated.
Right.
I just drove by there today, actually, wondering the
I
same.
drive by there a lot.
And that's just an example. I'm not pointing them out or anything, but it's just an example in my head because I drove by it today. But
Yeah.
it's something I think we should talk about. Jessica, I told you about this and you like the idea. I don't know if you have anything to add, and then we can go around the table and
Yeah, I mean, something like this, someone in there said for bigger projects, higher liability projects, I think it's good. Definitely not just, like a existing residential addition or septic system, maybe not, but sort of the higher liability projects where a lot of things just get lost in the weeds, and conservation is just due diligence only. That or trying to better apply and enforce with fees. If moving forward, obviously we can't really do much of the past, but if we see work has started on a site that we issued an order to, and we never got receipt that it was recorded, and I never went out to do a pre-construction inspection on applying fees. But I think regardless, some sort of financial.
well, that's a separate thing. That
Yeah.
in our,
But
the
yeah,
bylaw.
some sort of like financial contingency, depending
It's
on
a
the type
bond.
of project, I think is
Performance bond.
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So what size of project are you suggesting we have a bond for? Is it anything larger than a single home residential property? Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't know. I don't have that answer. I'm just putting it out there so we
Yeah.
can discuss it and,
That's a good
you
question.
know,
Linda, do you have any recollection of?
Yeah, I mean,
projects?
it would have been, you know, like a development project of a certain
Yeah.
amount of, like, say, 10 houses or something, but we didn't ever say it. It was just like, okay, here comes a big project. And I'm trying to remember though, if it was a developer that had a history of not complying with the orders of condition. Also, maybe we started to say, you know, because this, you know, you have a history of not complying, and maybe we used it then too.
Okay.
Does that make sense, or am I just?
it does. I don't want to point out, I don't want to,
No, I mean, but if someone, so the thing is that you don't want developers, it's frustrating because if a developer, and I don't, maybe doesn't happen anymore, but you know, back when I was on, you know, there were certain developers who were consistently not in compliance. So for the commission, and we know who they were, we would do that, you know. You don't want to pick on people, but if they're not showing good, you know, then you need to
yeah.
consider that, I think.
I'm more comfortable with just, instead of going by, just saying anything over a 2-house project, we're gonna implement this or whatever, and just leave it at that, and everybody gets the same.
And then I guess, and then what I'm talking about would be more under Jessica, the enforcement orders that you would issue. If
And
you're in
that's, yeah, that was a
non-compliance.
whole nother section.
Does any of that happen anymore? No?
I don't know. Jessica's been on top of stuff for at least. for the
We've,
past
yeah,
few
Yeah.
years.
we've dabbled in enforcement when needed. Fortunately,
Oh.
I haven't seen anything crazy.
Yeah,
in
it doesn't
Townsend,
seem like
but
there's a lot.
we haven't assessed any fines since I've been here. But I have sent out an enforcement order, and I have sent out several warning letters to different parties. So
Say there's a person who, I'm going to do an extreme example, is filling in a wetland on their property. They are well aware of the Wetlands Protection Act. They just are trying to do it without filing, right?
So that whole fine schedule is another section in the town bylaws that we can review,
Okay,
because it's outlined pretty
it's
well.
pretty clear, yeah.
This is just when they're coming to us for a order of conditions.
Yeah.
Do we impose this bond?
Yeah.
A requirement up to, you know,
You were saying.
whatever amount. And this
I
is,
just threw that out.
and this is in addition to the, you know, they get the bonding back once the fire's.
Right.
And then, you know, and of course, we have to talk to town councils with everything about that, so I'm sure the accountant and the selectmen.
I just emailed Sabrina today asking when town council will next be in hopes of getting a meeting time with him to discuss exactly this, like what the process would be, what other towns might be doing in terms of bonds. So once I get to have that conversation with him, I will report back. But if you guys have any specific questions you want to ask, you want me to ask him, feel free to shoot them over in an email in the next week or so, and I can add them to the list.
Colby?
Yeah, maybe I need a little more better understanding of this. I assume that construction projects are generally bonded at some level. They have to have insurance to cover their own liability. Are wetlands damage not covered in that?
It's not necessarily wetlands damage, it's making sure that you follow your order conditions.
Okay.
So instead of filing something with the registry of deeds, they provide a bond of a certain amount to guarantee that they will perform or comply with the order of conditions. Yeah, I'm not an insurance expert.
I don't see anything about what level that.
No,
That's for us to decide.
that's for us to decide.
Do you recall what you used to?
It's kind of like, it would be just a large project. That's all I can say. You've got your engineers, there's a lot of, plans and talk, and it's taking, it's clearly not a single family house or something like that. And it's taking a lot of time, it takes a lot of thought, it takes a lot of site inspections, it's that kind of thing. And it just was a large project.
Right, 2-family houses, commercial, industrial,
Or,
even.
I'm trying to think of
myself
where we
the
did it.
tag.
Yeah.
To-
Mike's got his hand up, James.
Hi, Mike. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I was just, when Colby was asking about bonds and how they work, I was just going to chime in with an example of what we do for roadways and bonds in town, if that's all right. Just to
Go
give
ahead.
like a frame of reference. So when a subdeveloper wants to put in a subdivision and they're putting in a private roadway, a bond is collected and held, and it is kept until the road is finished to a certain standard. And standards are imposed based on our regulations and what they have to be. So it has to be this quality of roadway, it has to be this wide, it has to have entrances, and all
Mike,
this stuff.
is that for a road that is then turned back over to the town, or it's going?
So that is for a private roadway, bringing it up to standards. It could result in being turned in over to the town, or it could be that the roadway just remains private, but at least the work is completed to the point where it meets the code required. And it's, again, that incentive one to serve as an incentive to those developers to like, all right, we're going to actually get this because then we'll get our money back. And they usually just take that money and then use it on the next project's bond. But two, also, if there was something that happens and, for example, a subdivision roadway, the company goes bankrupt, the road still isn't finished and someone has to pay for it. And so that money can be used to pay for completion of work. So that's the kind of an example of a bond that they'll have their own insurance, they'll have all that stuff, but it's a very specific bond tied to a very specific part of the project and making sure it's about compliance with a regulation. And the money just sits in an account accruing interest. It's not something that moves into the general fund while the project is ongoing or anything like that. It sits in its own separate account and it's just accounted for, and then the whole sum is returned to the owner.
Yeah.
Plus interest.
Yep.
So yeah, that makes sense. So it probably was, it's coming back. It was a road that, for development that went through a lot of wetlands.
Right, so.
And, I think Hillside Drive might have been the one. I'm trying to remember, because that had a lot of wetlands in it.
Well, that wasn't a specific example regarding wetlands. That's just general what we do for subdivisions.
I know, but I was trying to relate it back to why we have it in the
So-
Wetlands Protection Act.
So if there was a subdivision and there was a lot of wetlands in the area and you wanted to make sure the compliance was being followed and they closed out appropriately, you could say, all right, well, we're going to issue you what you want, but we're going to take a bond. We'll give it back to you when you finish your closeout and it's recorded at the county deeds.
Yeah. Okay. Memories coming back.
Yeah, if there's wetland replication, plantings, any of that stuff,
Yeah, the erosion control is all stabilized, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Mike, if they were interested in maybe applying this to new construction, say, are we able to learn the estimated total cost of the project and then try to put, like a 5% bond or something on it versus just like slapping on a subjective $1,000 lump sum? Or are we able to learn the cost of the project, or is that information that we would be able to learn?
So I'll be honest with you, I am learning about bond retention for projects for the first time at this job. So that is a great question. I don't have the answer for it off the top of my head. I think that seems reasonable to kind of base it off of that. And especially if it's a larger project, that would be a very significant amount of money. So I don't know, that could be one metric to choose an amount off of. It would be worthwhile to just make sure that whatever process you use for assessing bonds is transparent and fair. And so if it's 5% of subdivisions, it's 5% of subdivisions across the board. If it's an X number of dollars, it's X number of dollars across the board. That way it's just equitable for folks. Just in terms of whatever it is. So yeah, I don't know which way, you're talking to town council, that might be a good place to find out how you can figure out what you're allowed to figure out. Because I honestly have no idea what an appropriate amount of money would be. Like we were talking about it earlier, and we were making a joke about $1,000, and I'm like, well, that sounds like a lot of money to me, but to a developer, that's insignificant.
Yeah.
I'm just a town employee, though, so that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
According to the bylaws, they leave it up to us, so we can leave it as it is and just know that it's an option for
okay.
projects moving forward,
Mhm,
not to beat it, the subject into the ground, but
mhm.
to keep
Well,
moving
I would
forward.
appreciate hearing what Adam, Jessica, you said you're gonna check with Adam. Yeah, so then we'll get Adam's input. He knows, so.
Okay. So
Cool.
just,
Is that fair?
so we'll leave that as an action item for Jessica.
Thanks,
Alright.
Jessica.
Does anyone else have anything to add to this discussion, comment?
Mhm, that was good.
So are we moving 138.1 and 138.2 to the next meeting? Is that what we decided on, or?
Yes, I think that's what I'm saying.
Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
Pat, are you okay discussing those bylaws?
Yes.
Yes.
With the track changes,
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
can see what the
Okay.
recommendation is.
All right, so we'll do that, Matt. All right. Four point oh. Correspondence, Towns and Properties Committee needs a representative from Concom. Oh, let's see. Towns and Properties Committee currently has a vacancy in the seat reserved for a representative from the Conservation Commission. They are looking to see if Conscom would appoint a representative to serve on the committee. The committee is charged with advising the Board of Selectmen with maintenance, acquisition, and sales of all town-owned properties. And you can find the full outline for the committee here, chapter 127, Town Properties Committee. Thank you, Mike.
I would, but I think because I'm on this and that Affordable Housing Trust, it would be too much of a conflict. I just see it getting in the weeds a little bit there.
Yes.
Do you know what kind of responsibilities and time commitment go along with it?
Kevin?
Kevin Smith, for the people that don't know me yet. I serve on the Properties Committee. I served on the Properties Committee since its inception 20+ years ago. We've tried to have a conservation, an agent or a representative from the Conservation Commission to come to the meeting, serve on the board with us. And as we go through the town-owned properties, charge of those stewards of to give the Board of Selectmen input on things that the land should be maybe used or not used for. It's always been kind of handy to have an agent that we could, ask a question to and try to get their input right at the meeting.
How often do you meet, Kev?
What's that?
How often do you meet?
We meet once a month.
For how long usually?
Well, if there's not a lot to do, we can get out of there in an hour. Sometimes a half an hour, depending on if there's not much going on. The town is dispersed there quite a lot. And we're still trying to clean up quite a lot. pieces of tax taking properties and such. And, people still come to us looking for, something that we can use with, affordable housing.
Yeah.
Different things like that. So.
Hmm.
Gives you an idea, it's not a, it's a nice little committee and it's kind of.
Who else is on it?
I said, well, Lori Shipman serves on.
Nice.
So that's, our representative from the town, Vicky Tidman. We have a couple, because most of the boards, we don't have a representative from highway right now, which would be kind of nice, but it's like any other boards, it's hard to find volunteers. I never thought I'd be sitting here, well, I've sat here for 40 years on the other side of the table.
Right.
But, I'm starting to wind down. I've been involved with that. I was on affordable housing.
Yeah.
And I served on that a couple of times since its inception, but it's, it is what it is.
Well, if,
Not
so
gonna
you
be
have a
much time.
volunteer response form in. So when
I have a
you,
volunteer response form in for
conservation,
non-spawn, depending on how the board takes and moves it.
you could be
I
that
could
person.
probably be the rep to the town property.
That would,
Two for
that would
one.
take care of that, wouldn't it?
We love 2 for 1.
Okay. Well, I can't do it. I can say that.
I don't, I'm,
Oh, come on. And,
I'm already on board, not boards in here, but
is there on any action?
that's something do we even have an active ag?
We're
no,
gonna
they're
have
trying
pretty
to.
soon. We're gonna have pretty soon, I hope.
I would be more interested in that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
You too. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah. Anybody else?
You got open
Yeah,
space.
yeah.
And I have open space, but for,
Jesus, so.
So can we wait on this? Do we
I
have
don't
to
know,
respond right away?
I don't think so.
Okay, good.
Mike, do you need someone like right this second, or are you just making sure it's known that the opportunity is there?
I'm happy for you guys to take how much time you need to select the right candidate. So that works just.
Oh, God.
And as a reminder, it doesn't need to be a committee member. It just needs to be a representative that you designate.
Okay.
Jessica's cat.
He'd be honored
He
to make
seems on
an
top of
appearance
it.
on screen.
Yeah.
So we could put a former conservation commissioner as a rep. Is that what you're saying? Something like that as an example?
You could do whatever you want. It could be, your neighbor if they were willing. It's just someone that you entrust to speak on your behalf. So it could be anyone with I would recommend someone with some expertise.
Expertise
So,
on properties and open space and that kind of thing, right?
Well, more so on the conservation side of it, because they're representing you. And so what they're looking for is because remember, part of their mandate is also the acquisition of properties. And so if they're saying, hey, should we acquire this property? They need someone to say, oh yeah, it's got great conservation value.
Yeah.
So that's
why I was saying maybe a former conservation commissioner or employee or somebody could be a rep because they know that kind of stuff. Right? Okay.
All right, so we'll put that on hold. 4.2 email from MDR. Mass Department of Agricultural Resources regarding sightings of spotted lanternfly. Jennifer, I don't know. Jessica, Matt, can you sum this up, or do you need me to read the whole email?
No, it was just an email, from the Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources saying they spotted some in Massachusetts in various towns. It doesn't seem like it's a huge problem yet, but they just want people to be aware. I made a posting on the website about it, so if people are
So
interested.
is this a bad thing or a good thing?
It's a bad thing. They're
I
an
think we
endangered
actually-
species.
We got the email because one was spotted in Townsend.
Yes.
Okay, I'll read it. Is
I
that
can
okay?
just read.
Doesn't matter.
It's up to you.
We're receiving this notice because the Mass Department of Agricultural Resources confirmed the detection of the invasive insect known as spotted lanternfly. I'm not going to say the Latin name because I butcher it. While the state has received reports of spotted lanternfly in several areas across the state over the past 4 months, these have all been individual finds and none have resulted in established infestations. These repeated finds do, however, demonstrate the continued risk of this pest becoming established in Massachusetts. Matt, do you mind just popping up a picture of it? Hartley, can you share
sure
the screen
thing.
with Matt, please?
I have it on the, they shared a good like flyer of it, so.
Okay. Because of this, we are asking municipalities to keep an eye out for spotted lanternfly and to encourage the residents to report any finds. Spotted lanternfly is an invasive sap-feeding insect that has the potential to impact a broad range of agricultural commodities, including apples, peaches, grapes, hops, maple syrup, and ornamental plants, and has potential to negatively impact outdoor activities due to the swarming behavior that can occur in late summer.
Thank you. Now I'm informed.
I said it looks like a butterfly. I met him with the wings.
I don't know. I don't want to affect my maple syrup.
I can get a bigger picture of it here.
Holes are,
Right.
yeah, you know, that, I mean, they're already affected by so much.
Oh, all right. Yeah, it does look like a
More like a
butterfly.
moth.
Yeah,
It does.
yeah, it does look like a moth.
Yeah, and that the concern is it's gonna go after agriculture, it goes after grapes and lanthus, tree of heaven, just another invasive plant.
Yeah.
Apples as well.
Likes fruit, it loves fruit. You know, it likes fruit. I don't know.
But it has a very bright red color underneath. Right? So it's very distinctive.
So,
Best thing to do is flush it if you see it.
Exactly.
There's a link to report it on the website if people see it, so.
oh,
Just
good.
FYI.
That's good to know.
Kevin, you've seen that?
I've seen pictures of them. You know, we got an old lake a while ago that they're around, you know, looking for them.
Mm.
So it's just another trigger to add to the list that we look for as far as insect infested little critters.
APHIS, Animal Health and Inspection Services, had controlled attempts in New Jersey, New York.
Mhm.
I don't know where they're at. It works so well.
So. All right, 4.3. We have volunteer response form submitted by Kevin Smith for a 1-year term on Conservation Commission. It was received June 24th. We also received one from Jim LeQueer on July 5th. So Kevin's here. And he's got 40 years of experience and land. I can't even read it. Kevin, you might tell
I
me?
see it?
Yeah.
Because we didn't get to see. So,
It was on in the folder.
okay.
The board of brief introduction. If they'd like.
Please, welcome.
Sure. That would be great,
People
I
don't
think.
Don't know me. My name is Kevin Smith. A lifelong resident of Townsend. 4th generation farmer, 2nd generation site contractor. Our family just celebrated 100 years farming in town. Just early this year, in fact. I'm the 2nd generation. I started our excavation business in 1955. It was started by my dad. I got the best knowledge of the land in town. Scrapes over most of it. Family's been in town basically since the beginning. Family owns 400 or 500 acres of land in town. With the stewards over a couple hundred more. My family owns probably the well-known quarry up in the state park, it's surrounded by state land. And, we kept that open for the public. It sees a tremendous amount of use. It's popular with all the local hikers, wildlife enthusiasts. Joan herself has been up there. He knows how much we care about it. Our family has deep roots in town, serve our lands. I've served on the town properties committee, as I mentioned earlier, since its inception 20+ years ago. And I'm starting to wind down on the construction side of things and want to focus more on the ag side. I believe I could be an asset to the committee. Respect my knowledge of the land, site side of it, plant side of it, the engineering side, and wetlands replication. We've done acres of them over the years. And, we built replication construction. Pretty familiar with the wetlands, plants, hybrid soils. Well, pretty familiar with plants such as broadleaf ferns, the skunk cabbage, the red dogwoods, and wetland varieties. And I don't know, I just feel like I could be an asset to the board. So, the board wants to consider. I want on my plate. But I see everybody else is giving them their time.
Yeah, yeah.
So, if it's helpful to the board, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'll open it up to questions now. That's the right way to say it.
I'll answer if you already fall asleep.
Assume. I have questions.
Go ahead, John.
Okay, thanks. So Kevin, what I do know about you is that you're a polite, thoughtful person, reflective, open to hearing other people's opinions, so I like that. And you'd never be rude to anybody. I like that. What is concerning to me is that at town meeting, you spoke at length about the 35-foot. So we are here to support the Wetlands Protection Act.
Correct. I'm not, my argument at town meeting, Joan, was simply the state has set the rule, it's 35 feet. Rule today is 35-foot no disturbance.
The state.
That's our rule.
I mean, our rule, I'm sorry.
Yes,
Correct.
right.
And I wasn't trying to change any of it or an argument about it. It just, when you put aside and go to the agricultural side, depending on what hat I wear, if you have a piece of agricultural land and it's got a ditch in it, and you gotta be able to maintain the ditches. That was part of my argument. And I wasn't trying to argue the point that to go inside of the 35 feet. So 35-foot rule is set.
I just want to say too that that example you gave, as an agricultural person, you have the ability to maintain all of your ditches.
Correct.
You don't need to do a notice of intent or RDA
No,
or anything.
exactly.
So all of that stuff is kind of in there, but the 35-foot buffer, is it in our bylaws?
Yes, and we've had a state and a superior court rule about our 35-foot, but what my concern, Kevin, about the town meeting was, I mean, we all know that agricultural exemptions
Correct.
are pretty much covers everything.
Yeah.
To wit, we don't
Correct,
have
but
any farmers coming in here
over-
filing RDAs or trying to get our
But
opinion.
over time, certain people that have served on the commission previously have brought that up. You can't be in there. Well, it's exempt,
Yeah.
Well,
but if I
yeah.
put my construction hat on and I'm wearing a hard hat,
You
you have
do.
a 35-foot rule.
Yeah.
We've done several sites with that.
Yeah.
35-foot rule is imposed, and that's a no disturbance area. I've got no problem with following those rules.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with not following the rules. My argument was more to the ag side of the debate, because somebody had brought up in conversation before the meeting about that and said nobody can encroach into that 35 feet period.
No,
Just,
not,
yeah.
that wasn't what the the rewrite was meant to strengthen our 35-foot, and the verbiage didn't say that, and there were always waivers. Actually, the one addition to the existing thing that was in the rewrite was that, folks planning to do anything within the 35-foot, if they wanted a waiver, they'd have to show that there wasn't gonna be any there weren't gonna be any negative impacts.
I wasn't speaking against that.
But, well, I know, but it's concerning to me, though, that you were.
So,
Yeah,
can I give you a second to collect
Yeah.
your thoughts and answer
Thank
this
you.
question?
Thank you.
I'm gonna address the commission. I don't think that that has anything to do with Kevin's knowledge. Nothing at all to do. He has an opinion. Everybody on this commission, everybody in this room has the right to their own opinion.
Correct.
And that does not interfere with the capability that Kevin has. That does not change his ability at all.
Right.
And I don't think personally, it's Kevin. Personally, I mean, he is someone who is so valuable to this town. There's no question about it, the things that you've done for this town. And I think, and your family. And so I think that what we always need to go back on is really, do you like regulating people? And I don't think you could.
The rules are the rule.
The rules are the rule. And so from one standpoint, you could say what you're saying, but on the other side is that if Kevin is on the Conservation Commission and he knows the difference between 35-foot buffer with farming and agriculture and with a construction, and he can speak to town meeting about that and clarify that it's, because the thing is that people get so emotional about things and they say things like, we'll never be able to
When it comes to
blah, blah, blah.
I'm pretty passionate about
Right,
agriculture.
right.
My family is, and, I'll debate anybody on it. I wasn't trying to, to cause any conflict. Someone had said outside of the meeting.
Right.
They made
Never.
that comment,
Yeah,
and I was trying to clarify or
Right.
give my opinion on it.
Mm.
It has nothing to do with the 35-foot
no,
rule. We have to adhere to it on not every job we do, because a lot of the stuff we're doing now is outside the wetlands
Right.
and outside 35 feet or something. It is what it is. The rules are rules.
right, right,
You know. Everybody has to abide by it.
right.
I understand. It was concerning to me, that, it wasn't supported. And that's
So
the way it was.
Why wasn't it supported? Well, I wasn't at town meeting, so I'm just like,
Well-
did you not support it, Kevin? Is that?
What's that?
Did you not support the 35-foot?
No. That's
Clarification?
Not at all.
At ten.
Somebody had made the comment outside that, it started off in my remarks of the, maintenance of ditches on the ag side. And then I have to put my construction hat on.
Yeah,
And I said, the 35-foot rule is in place. I don't have a problem with that. And I said that. But what I said was, why change it? Why make the rule any stricter than it is? It's already 35 feet. The rule is, your rule is 35. The state's 50.
Okay, I just wanted to make the point because it was important to me.
I know it was.
Because you spoke for about 5 minutes against the motion to strengthen the 35-foot.
But it doesn't change,
I'm good.
it doesn't change my feelings about conservation if you seem to think that it does. I mean, we can go on and on about, being a good steward of land or a steward of conservation or conservationist. I think I told you how I spent an hour a few weeks ago trying to get a little baby fawn out of the hayfield so I could save its life, and how we, I'll spend sometimes an hour or two trying to protect a killdeer's nest out in the middle of a field,
Mm.
trying to locate it so we can save it, so we don't narrow it up. So, you know, I have strong belief in conservation.
Mhm.
I know that about you, Kevin, and I appreciate it. It's just that you spoke for quite a long time, but that's okay. I'm past that.
I think it took me
Thank
that
you.
long to get my point across to some people.
And I always want to, conservation, everybody at this table, we're all into conservation and all of that, but this is a board of regulations and it's not really fun. I mean, you know it better than anyone, so,
I've sat on both sides.
yeah,
I've spent 40 years sitting on this
I
side
know.
of this side of the table,
I know.
you know.
I just don't want to be the concrete committee, but I'm good.
What do you mean by the concrete committee? I'm just asking for my clarification because
I'm comfortable at this point with, and I certainly know Kevin knows tons of stuff. It's important to me that, which might be too idealistic, that, that people are serving, we're here to support the WPA and enforce it.
Right.
And so that's a whole nother conversation, really. I'm good. Thank you.
That was a good point, Sean, that
Yeah.
is what we're here for.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing as well that Kevin here has a working knowledge of the town bylaws and Wetlands Protection Act, which is very positive. That's my point.
I'll add, I've never known Kevin not to go above and beyond what's required. A little thing like the Warren Road project where you planted like twice as many trees as you were supposed to because you knew it was the right thing to do.
Okay.
Coming from the agricultural side of things too, I don't know anyone in the ag field that is not a conservationist.
Right.
That they're constantly trying to.
Well, we're protecting a lot of lands that
Right.
a lot of it
Yeah.
may not be protected under some other ownerships.
Sometimes you have to get in the dirt and do things that, builders can't do, but it's to protect the land and your income and,
Right. And that's why
really
there's so many
community.
exemptions for ag.
And we are right to farm community.
We are.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
And when I was the executive director at MACC, I went to a number of meetings between the Ag Commission, the Mass Ag Commission and Conservation, because they just felt like they were at odds. Now, we're going back 20 years. I don't know if it's still the
I
feeling.
remember.
I don't know if that's still the feeling between, I don't think it's as much, right?
I don't think so.
No.
Today, I think I think everybody's trying to get along better
Yeah, yeah.
today than they were 20,
Yeah.
25, even 15 years, maybe
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
They're realizing that more that agriculture is a vital part. of
It
the
is.
communities.
We
Well,
cannot
we're gonna
live
see
without it.
something.
Right. Right.
People are gonna try to do, wholehearted farmers want to do the right thing.
Mm.
I just happen to wear two hats, which puts me in a,
Right.
which tends to put me in a bad position sometimes.
Or a good
Or-
position.
or-
A tough position.
A tough position
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not that my heart's not the right place.
Mm.
Uh,
And since you're not doing as much development construction, then you wouldn't be before the board that much.
Right.
And you'd just
We-
recuse yourself. So.
We have engineers that come before you, a lot
Yeah.
of stuff we got coming up is non-jurisdictional for this board anyway. It's all, everything we got, not everything, but some of them, probably over half the work that we've got coming up before I finally settle down is outside the jurisdictions I drive around, so there isn't too much. There is a few, there's gonna be a few jobs, but
Yeah.
it's,
You just
that's
recuse
what the engineers are there for. I
Yeah.
can stay home and have supper.
Well, I do know we have a serious water problem in town, Kevin.
We have a serious water
Yeah.
problem, and
Yeah.
not just in town,
Right.
Right,
but,
right, you're right.
And really, the regs, and I wasn't a part of that town meeting and I really, I don't know what it was about, but But all of the regs are, when I think back to the master plans way back when, the Conservation Commission, what we were looking for is ways to protect our aquifer and our groundwater. And the more wetlands we have, obviously, the better we're off because they can. But so I think,
Do you remember the percentage of wetlands, the acreage in town?
no, it was a lot.
70% of the towns in the ACEC, that's a big deal.
It's a lot.
I'm a firm believer that Townsend is always gonna be a community in the state with very limited development.
Yeah, because of that. Yeah,
Because of that, the wetlands
and the
now
aquifer.
state-owned land for open space preservation.
Exactly. But also our aquifer, that's our groundwater, and it's so vulnerable, and that's kind of how our zoning has been set up, is around the protection of that aquifer. So I do think,
Townsend's doing the right thing, I think.
yeah, we always, in the end, we always
The
do.
town's blessed with having, well, I don't know if they're blessed with having the amount of state-owned land that we've always been
Right.
protected.
Right,
That's a very good thing. Some people think it's very bad.
because there's not taxes.
Because when they put more tax liability and fewer pieces,
Right.
more demand,
Yeah.
fewer parcels. There's a lot of, you can talk for hours on it is what it is.
I know.
This is a one-year term, James.
Yes.
I move we vote, please.
You're lucky. No, okay.
I'm gonna adjourn myself again.
Okay,
Thank you for having
Thanks
me
for
on.
coming.
Thanks for having me on.
thank you for volunteering and
Yeah.
getting involved in this.
Kevin,
Well, hold on, before you go, Patricia, do you have any questions, Ann? Or
Everybody,
any other questions?
thank you.
Okay,
Have a good day.
thanks.
This comes the fun part.
Make a motion to go.
If you don't mind. Can I read something first?
Yes.
Okay. According to the town charter, section 7-9, subsection F, filling of vacancies. Whenever a vacancy shall occur in the membership of an appointed multiple member body, the remaining members shall forthwith give written notice of such vacancy to the appointing authority, thus giving select board notice, which was done, and that was posted June 8th. If at the expiration of 30 days following the delivery of such notice, the appointing authority has not appointed some person to fill the vacancy, the remaining members of the multiple member body shall fill such vacancy for the remainder of the unexpired term by majority vote of the remaining members. Town clerk and the appointing authority shall be notified in writing when the vacancy has filled or is filled. I'm asking the commission, we can move to appoint Kevin tonight, or we can move to send it to the select board.
My understanding is we vote, and this position, since it's after the 30 days, does not go to the BOS.
So
It's just us.
it could if we, but it's up to us as a commission. Now, we also got a form from Jim. Any volunteer response forms are kept on file for a year.
Okay.
So if a position opens up, if we appoint Kevin, we will give Jim the opportunity to talk or come before us, and then there's other positions. But again, that's all. We have to have that 30, we have to pass that 30 days. So that's all I have to add to this conversation. If anyone else would like to discuss, please.
Did you
go
I
ahead.
make a motion to appoint Kevin Smith to the Townsend Conservation Commission for a term of 1 year.
And I'll second it.
Linda, you were saying something.
She did it. I was gonna say, should we make a motion to approve his? So, yeah, so Joan did it, I second it.
Joan, you don't look thrilled.
I have,
Okay, then.
that's why.
I'm sorry.
No, I really appreciate Joan bringing up her question and being honest and upfront. And I'd love to see even more of that happening here, that we can all feel free to say what we need to say about whatever.
And Kevin's honest and upfront too.
He is, that's
Right.
why he's
Sometimes too much.
somewhat too much. But I mean, he's, yeah, you know what you're dealing with Kevin, he's not, yeah, anyway. So I seconded it
Anything on the side of the table?
Well, was that a motion to approve or just?
Approved.
to
To
approve,
a point.
and I
To a
second
point.
for 1 year.
1 year, it's a
point,
1 year
1 year.
term.
Okay, so it's not a voting. matter.
No, it's a voting matter.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're going, if we can appoint them, and that was the motion.
Okay.
So we can appoint them to be on the commission, and then we have to send a notice to the town clerk and the select board. Again, we have this, Jim's volunteer responsible, and that will be kept on record for the year. From, I assume when it was received.
Thanks for the clarity.
I hope I didn't butcher it.
No, always been an education here.
Yeah, right, me too.
Patricia, do you have anything you'd like to add or questions?
I do have a question. So his is for a year, and
Yes.
then when that's up, can he rerun again?
We,
Or
yes,
reappoint?
Reappointed, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's all I want to ask. Alright. No, I think it'd be good to have him.
so we have a motion and a second. Joan's suffering with her headache, so let's.
Get out of here.
I vote yes.
I vote yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
James, yes. Matt or Jessica, do you want me to write a letter, or one of you write it and I come and sign it, or?
We can do the latter, yeah. Monday, yeah, we'll plan on doing that all Monday. But we'll circle back with you. But yeah, if you want to come in sometime Monday to sign.
Okay.
Good.
5.0 education conferences, votes may be taken. 5.1 update on MACC membership renewals. I have this in the folder town, or the Townsend schedule, their departmental bills payable. Do we have to sign vote for this?
I believe, yeah, someone on the board has to sign for it. So I was just hoping that would happen tonight if possible.
Yeah,
Also a
I've been
vote.
signing in the past. I was voted to the one to sign.
Okay, good.
well, do we need to vote on it?
We should.
I was gonna
we
say, I
can
don't think we
approve it.
voted on it last week, so.
We have to approve it.
I'll make a motion to approve our membership to MACC
For the total
for the total of
$2.99.
$299.
second,
of Joan?
Yes.
Yeah,
Patricia? Linda?
Yep.
Yes.
yes.
And James, yes.
And Matt, thanks for taking this over.
No problem. Yeah, happy to do it. The only other two quick updates is they have the updated roster of the ConsCom members, MACC does, and there are multiple MACC fundamentals classes coming up. I don't know if people can go to them and then we approve the funds after the fact, or I know we've approved it before in the past, but the classes are in the next couple of weeks, so
Are they online or are they in person?
they're virtual.
Virtual, good, that's easy.
I
Are you able to do that, Pat?
yeah, I still do that.
I don't think there's a problem with people just, I'll explain to you how to sign up. It's a little,
Okay.
a bit of a
You
deal, but
probably need to
if somebody
go
just
through-
goes ahead and then at the next meeting will approve it retroactively or whatever.
Okay.
Although, wait a minute,
Do they make you pay
MACC
Don't think it's
supposedly
grumpy.
won't let you take a class till it's paid,
till it's paid?
but they're never, not gonna get paid under 30 days anyway,
Yeah,
because of,
so
I did
like-
read that.
we have to pay it ahead of time.
no, you don't wanna do that.
Oh,
You know what, they say that, but it's been working out just fine.
okay.
Yeah.
Joan, do you mind going over at whenever convenient for you to go over with Patricia the
Not at all.
MACC
That,
stuff?
I'd
so that-
love to fill her in on that,
I
sure.
saw the
Yeah.
classes coming up,
Yeah.
so.
Oh, good.
Plus, there's a free orientation that's pretty nice overview.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll
And they
talk
have
to
a
you
whole
about
list of
that.
resources and.
Yeah,
Joan, do you want me to inform Lindsay, or Pat was already on the roster that I recently submitted to MACC, but do you want me to send like an introductory email between the two of them?
Oh, that would be lovely. Thank you.
Okay.
And then she can have Pat's address and everything, and then,
It's already on there.
yeah, oh, good, okay. And,
Yeah,
and
Just like
then
the
when Pat,
introductory.
and I'll
for
explain to
classrooms.
Pat how to sign up for a class directly with Lindsay, et cetera, and give her her email, and then you'll have her email. And then we have to add Kevin now. Thank you.
Once he gets appointed, I'll do that, yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
Okay.
Well, once he gets,
Or like
Sworn
sworn in.
in.
I mean.
Sworn in, yeah.
but yeah, we have to send the letter and then he can get sworn in.
Okay.
I'll leave this just loose in the bucket.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, James.
You guys, again, thank you both and Mike for everything you guys do for us.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Ditto.
And you're so capable, and we really appreciate the team.
yeah.
Thank you. You make us look good.
Okay. So for items for what?
It's like better.
Better.
No, I do, yeah. Items for discussion at the next meeting, now that we have a full board, hope Kevin sworn in, but we need to, vote on officers again, because it's the beginning of the new fiscal year and we have new members.
Next meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We dragged it out. One meeting, probably too long, but, and, I just want to address everyone quickly that, I'm sorry that at any time, someone doesn't feel welcomed, or if, my personal demeanor comes off in a negative way. I sometimes don't have the best personality for people's skills, so.
But you have a great smile, so just keep
Thank
smiling.
So again, Tricia, welcome to the Conservation Commission.
Thank
We appreciate being here and taking the time to volunteer to do this. If it wasn't for all of us volunteering, we wouldn't get this far. So,
Thanks, Denise.
we motion to, or actually, Joan, are you going to get name plaques?
Yes, now I am. Yep. Now we're set.
So we're a full board now.
We're full board, 7 people.
That's good
For now.
for now.
All right, well, does anyone have anything else they'd like to add at the next meeting, or need to say anything now before we adjourn?
Just real quick, the Zoom got extended till next March, so we're all good there. Just FYI. Got approved by the state.
So we don't need a
Mike.
physical, we don't need a
Mike.
physical.
Did I butcher that?
Matt is half right. It was
Ah.
approved to continue to go forward.
I'll take it.
And then earlier today, they unapproved it.
Okay, I was not
More
aware of
changes.
that.
They swear it'll be done by Friday, which is the deadline. So no worries. It's,
Okay. Sorry, Mike.
that's all right. You can't, the state,
Man.
nothing is ever done until
Moves
it's done
quick.
3 weeks ago. So,
What I've
We'll keep
read,
it up to-
as long as we have a physical quorum.
Right,
People can
physical
call.
quorum.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Really?
I don't believe, yeah, so you have to be able to be part of the physical quorum, right? And
You can do a roll call vote if you have a physical quorum.
right. Then we
And the
shouldn't
person
have a
on
problem,
Zoom can vote.
right?
Okay.
But,
They can call in too.
and we're not going to stop Zoom.
I don't think we should.
Right, yeah, I agree.
And our wonderful support
Staff.
staff would have to come in and
They'd all have to come in.
Well,
it
plus
works
it's
out for
just,
them.
it's, well, for transparency and then the Channel 9 and then public access and all that.
So
It's important.
I'm not trying to rush you along. I think
No,
we all
don't.
have to sign, if we could just
Oh,
all
yeah.
sign
Oh,
this
yeah.
before we leave.
Yep.
So the next meeting is Wednesday, July 27th, 2022, 7 PM, Board of Select Chambers, second floor. This meeting will be held via virtual Zoom as well. Need a motion to adjourn in a second with the time.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
At
8:47.
8:47. Yeah,
Who's gonna call
Joan?
Kevin?
Second,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
Joan, yes,
yes.
Patricia,
Yeah,
Linda,
Yes.
So this was.
Yeah.
the, like,
Yeah.
Jessica,
Yeah.
right?
yes.
With the.
Thank you, everyone.